Goddesses and jefas, welcome to another episode of Get It Girl. I'm your girl Gia, and I'm here in good company with my girls Artifacts and Jackie.
Really good company and really good topics. On today's Girl Talk, we're going to talk about how to keep flame of love alive.
And joining us on the couch today, we have Costa Rican artist Debi Nova and relationship expert Spicy Mari.
All of that and more on Get It Girl.
So, do you think the spark in long-term relationship is inevitable? Like, Jackie, you are the one that is married, so what do you think?
Well, I think it can happen sometimes. You know, routine, kids, you know, both husband, wife working, if travel is involved. But how about you guys? Not necessarily because I'm married, you know, what if you guys are in a long-term relationship?
I've been a personal trainer and a coach for women for so many years, and I'm a chismosa, so I always ask the married ones, I'm like, how do you keep the spark alive? And I actually have only known one girl in 10 years that I've trained. One girl that has been married for 12 years, 3 kids. She has sex with her husband every day. And they have the best relationship though. No, but she has like the best relationship, and her body, she doesn't even exercise. She has a cute little booty. Like, she exercises with me, but I'm sorry, like anything more than 2 times a week, like, I don't know. For me, I think that that's the only person I've heard, but I do feel,
What's a good number for you?
For me, when I was happy in my relationship, I do need to have sex every day. Given I like to exercise though, I'm very physically fit. Not everybody that works out as much as I do is gonna have maybe the same sex drive.
Yeah.
But Tony Robbins says this too. He actually has couples that come to him that have issues. He tells them, go have sex for 7 days in a row and come back. Tell me if you guys don't have a connection again. And it works every time.
Yeah, but we're talking about sex now. What about another alternative that it's not only about sex? Because I think it's
because
about...
I think pillow talk is also really important after sex.
I think just watching TV with wine and relaxing, you know, having your partner next to you,
like
not necessarily doing something, it's enjoyable as well, you know. You need to communicate either your thoughts, your fears, your goals, anything. You have to be able to communicate.
And you and your husband go out on a lot of dates too. I noticed that. Like for New Year's, you guys were on a yacht. I was like, damn, boss life.
I wish it was a yacht, but yes. Yeah, we do like to do dating.
How often do you date?
I think maybe 3 times a month, you know.
Okay, so that's good.
We
I think
have
that's
the
a good
kids.
balance.
Either dinners, you know, maybe a bar or something like that.
Yeah. And what about you? Like in the past, like dating, how often do you date to keep it alive?
I've been I'm a long-term relationship girl.
Yeah.
So what's your number?
I'm more about talking, communicating, connection, deep conversations. I believe in that. You know, create something together, cook together, write music together, or like even, I don't know.
Cooking with wine.
Cooking with dance routines, like just, you know, those kind of things. And then the sex.
Of course.
And that's an extra, right?
Yeah. That's an extra. Exactly, that's an extra.
And what else though? I mean, what else do you think? Maybe traveling? I feel like it's still really important to travel as a couple.
That's when you know you're a couple.
Yes.
That's when you know.
Now that you mentioned traveling with kids, what my husband and I like to do is 1 year we do a big trip, you know, with the girls, and obviously us, and then the next year we try to do it just by ourselves, so we can, you know, spark that flame and just enjoy each other. Yes,
I think it's important, and it's just like I mean, I don't want to say a job, but it's just like if you love what you do, you never think work is work. It's the same thing with a man. I think people need to understand that marriage or relationships, at least when I was married, it's a job.
It is like a flower. You gotta
and you have to water it
every day.
And it's work. And if you don't consistently work at it, just like if our businesses, if we didn't consistently work at our business, it will go down.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like a lot of the time women are the ones working on it a lot.
Yes,
so
and that's why there's a lot of conflict.
And it becomes like a job, and that's where I don't know. That's where it's
you definitely don't want it to be.
Yeah,
and if you're doing something and it's starting to be tedious, it's because they're not giving it in return. And what happens is we're letting all this energy out, and if we're not receiving that same love back,
that's like,
is when you start to feel, when you start
that's
really
when
remember that when you're intimate with your partner, you're receiving either all the bad energy or the good energy from that other person. So it's like
exactly. No, exactly. Girls, this was such juicy talk. I love to hear. Now we all know how many times we all have sex. We need to take a quick break though. We'll be right back with Debi Nova. You don't want to miss it.
Back on Get a Girl with a very special guest. She's a Costa Rican singer-songwriter y tiene una voz que enamora a cualquiera. Please welcome Debi Nova.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
God, I feel like we should cheer these
So
up.
happy to be surrounded by all these beautiful women.
I know. When you first moved, what was your initial spark? What was the inspiration to finally take that big leap? Because Los Angeles, you know,
Yeah, it was
not
a
an
hard move.
easy city.
Yeah, I've been here for 20 years actually, but I moved here when I was very young, so I feel that was a blessing because I didn't realize how hard it was. It takes patience. The city takes patience, but once you're in it, you're in it.
You don't wanna leave.
You don't want to leave. Well, I want to leave, but I can't.
Yeah, has there ever been a moment where you were just like, oh my God, I know so many actresses that come here, singer-songwriters, and they just are like, I need to leave, I can't do this anymore. Was there a time that you had to overcome something, and how did you overcome that?
Well, speaking of keeping the spark alive, my husband recently has been working more in Costa Rica, which is where we're from. So I would say the last 5-6 years, he's had more and more work there, and I've been wanting to like maybe make the move back to Costa Rica, but LA, I don't know, for entertainment and music, I just feel very stimulated here, and I always meet really amazing women, you know, getting things done, and it's just very inspiring. I also feel like the movement of Latin music has grown a lot in Los Angeles. When I first got here, there wasn't that many people doing Latin music. It was mostly in Miami. And now there's a lot of producers and songwriters, and so there's a really nice community of Latinos haciendo música.
Tell us, how did you start into the music world? Like, what motivated you, like, in school, like your parents? How did it start? It's always been part of me. I started playing piano when I was 4 years old with a little keyboard that was laying around the house, and I just never stopped. It was always kind of like a thing I knew deep inside, and that's why I moved to LA. I just wanted to pursue music, and here we are.
You reached your goals.
And you started as a songwriter first, correct?
Yes.
A singer or songwriter. What was the spark, or what happened that made you be like, you know what, I'm gonna put myself out there and be that artist? Because it's intimidating, you know?
Yeah.
What was that moment that you had?
Well, I'll tell you, I used to sing backgrounds with Ricky Martin. That was my first I started writing songs for other artists, and that was amazing for many years. And then I started singing backgrounds with Ricky. And after a year of working with Ricky, which was an amazing gig, I mean, imagine Ricky Martin being your boss. I just looked at myself. I was 27 years old, and I was like, you know, if I don't make the move, if I don't take this step now, I'm never gonna do it. It was now or never, and it was really, really, really tough. But I took it alone, made my first album, and that's how it started.
Yes.
Well, this
is the new song, right?
This is the new song, and that was my first album. This is my fourth album coming out. For my first album, I was like, you know, if we take out loans to buy a car or whatever, why wouldn't I do it to like do the things I really love to do?
And take the risk.
And
it takes a big risk to follow your dreams, and I always tell that to people.
Yeah.
Will you play a little bit of us?
Yes. So this is the new song.
This is the new one, right?
Yes, it just came out in November. It's a duet with Pedro Capó.
Oh my God. Alístense para enamorarse de esta mujer.
And speaking of long distance, it talks about keeping the flame alive with somebody when you have a little bit of time, you know?
Yeah.
It's called Quédate. Quédate esta tarde, por favor. Hace mucho frío en la ciudad. Quién sabe cuándo te vuelva a ver. Y medimos con las manos cada espacio de la piel. viento nunca para de correr. Le sumaría horas al reloj para poder tenerte aquí. Ni lo infinito es suficiente cuando es junto a ti. Regalémonos, mi amor, este atardecer que es de los dos, de los dos, de los dos. Regalémonos, mi amor, este atardecer que es de los dos, de los dos, de los dos. Pronto tienes que partir y no me quiero perder el reflejo de este cielo en tus ojos color miel. Regalémonos, mi amor, este atardecer.
Oh my God. Bravo. Qué inspiración. You are such an inspiration. We need to take a really quick break, but we'll be back with Spicy Marie. Stay tuned.
She's a relationship expert, a matchmaker, a life transformer, and adds a spicy touch wherever she goes. Please welcome Spicy Mari.
Oh my
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
I know. Tell us everything that you do. There's a couple things that you do. Tell us about yourself.
Oh my gosh, so when I was born, no. I am a relationship coach and a expert at that and a professional matchmaker. And so the reason why it's transformative is because it's not just the setting you up and matching you. I actually take you through like a 90-day 5-step program based on SPICY. So everybody thinks that like spicy is because I'm Latina and I'm like, you know, fiery.
Which you are spicy,
And I am spicy. But spicy actually stands for self-passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes. So it's an
I love
acronym,
that. It's a
and
great
that's what my
acronym.
program is about. Those are the 5 steps that I take you through so that you can improve in your social skills and how you connect with people.
Yeah.
And you can be better at dating and then better at flirting and better at seducing and attracting your purpose mate.
Which is our power.
Modern day hitch.
I actually just signed up. It's funny that you're here. I actually just signed up for a professional matchmaker
good girl.
because I cannot Tinder, Bumble. If you have that much time to swipe, I don't want a guy like that. I want a guy with a real job that has no time to date for that, but is looking for something serious. And in Los Angeles, it's so hard to date in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So how does like your matchmaking? How long have you been doing that specifically?
Since I was little. I was joking at first about like, oh, when I was born, but I really was a little girl matchmaking. My mom was
believing in
married.
love.
Yes, my mom was married 3 times because of me when we were little. Or I was little, I realized that she was happier when she was in a relationship. And so I started going up to men and like, you know, my mom, she's amazing. I'll be a good little girl. Like I was pitching us back then that young. Yeah.
I love it.
But it's something that I was passionate about. And then the older that I got, the more that I realized that some of the self-worth was wrapped around the relationship, which it should not be.
For sure.
And that's where the coaching came into place. And I'm like, okay, it's not enough for me to just set people up. I actually need to coach them and help them with self-love in order to improve on their ability to connect. Because, you know, we bring our baggage into the relationship and you want to be accepted completely for who you are. But at the same time, there's always room for self-growth.
Yes.
And so you should always be in personal development. Even when you get in a relationship, you guys should be in
Yes.
relationship development.
Yeah.
So you believe in loving your first before loving somebody
Oh,
else?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Because when the person stops loving you, then what? Right? But
Yeah.
you still love you, so you're good. Like
You're
that's
good.
how you move on and heal, move on to the next.
On to the next one.
No, yeah, and that's what happened with me with my divorce. I realized I didn't love myself, and I just put him first. And then when he stopped loving, you know, in a sense, well, I also flawed. There was things that I did too, but you start to realize if you don't love yourself and they don't love you, you really put yourself in a dark place.
Yeah.
And I realized, I mean, just with Latina culture, you know, my mom was like my dad's basically slave. You know, back in the generations, if the man cheated, it was like, oh, honey. It's like now it's like, no, I don't want to deal with that. You know, we're kind of evolving as women. And it's amazing you're Latina too, which I maybe gotta call you girl.
Afro-Latina.
because you also understand.
I'm Black and Mexican.
And because you understand the background of Latinas and like it's gonna be different than somebody else that grew up probably different than me. It's like we have a lot of stuff with like the self-worth. You know, we weren't allowed to use our voice.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's so detrimental to most women now. Because then now that I use my voice, men sometimes get intimidated by it, but I think that the right guy will allow me to use my voice. I just haven't found that man yet.
How are you monitoring that? How are you judging if it's the right guy? Because if you had met it before, you would be with the right guy. So what does that look like for you?
Well, I monitor it, number one, if they're asking me to shoot videos with them right away, I'm like, you just want to be
You're
my
like,
online boyfriend. Yeah.
Bye.
And a lot of them, if they try to pressure me, I don't like to be pressured into sex. Don't get me wrong, I love sex when we get there.
Do you?
You know, I'm very physically active, you know?
Fellas, are you listening?
Yeah, right? But the way I monitor it is if they make me feel safe. And
Boom,
that's
that
what
part.
I haven't found that yet.
What would be like red flags in like dating? I mean, I'm not dating, but you know.
A red flag would be if the person doesn't believe in commitment and they're trying to justify why they just want to keep you in the friend zone or friends with benefits.
Yes.
If there's someone, and you can ask like, when, you know, was your last relationship, or what do you believe in commitment? What's your definition of a commitment? If they don't have a definition and they don't explain themselves as, oh, you know, it's something that I definitely am looking forward to, these are the steps that I'm taking to get there, then you know, okay, this is not one of your core values. I need to kind of remove myself from this situation, because if commitment isn't one of your values and it's one of mine, we're now dating with two different values, and I can't convince or change your values. I'm not enough, right?
Even cheating, you know, I think the same definition for cheating needs to be the same, because I've been with people that think pornography is okay. For me, that's considered cheating. But not everybody feels like that, and that's okay. You don't have to put every single woman in a box. It's not good and it's not bad, I don't think, at least. I just personally don't.
Can they watch it if you're in it? Like if they make the video with you guys together?
Well, yes, in the past I would say yes, but because now I'm online and there's hackers, I'm too afraid of that going too
We want to
viral.
keep talking to you, but we're taking a quick break and we'll be right back with Spicy Mari. Cha-cha-cha.
While we get to play and have fun, we also get to learn some dating tips. And you know I need them. So, red flags.
Okay.
He follows a lot of bikini models on IG. Thank you. We all agree on that one, right?
Definitely a red flag.
How about he blames his ex for everything that went wrong in the relationship?
Oh my God, for sure, red
Right?
flag.
Okay, good. We're all on the same
We're on
page
the
so
same
far. Okay. How about this one? He has a lot of female friends. For me, it's this one, but I know some people don't mind. Yeah.
That
Right?
means that he's able to have relationships with women.
Yes.
As long as they're
True.
respectful
ones,
and
yeah.
introduces
Well,
you.
a lot, you mean like a lot, like.
I mean, I don't know a lot. I had a
You're
pastor
married
tell
and
me this in the
mostly-
past that it's just an ingredients for a disaster. Because then somebody else can see you guys out at lunch, and then they could start to plant seeds like, oh, I saw so and so. You know, Latinos were so chismosas.
That depends on
So
where
like, I
you're
think
going
it starts to
around.
plant seeds. But if you have a solid trust,
Right, and that's the most important part is
Right.
where does your security lie? If you're someone who's dealing with past cheating from someone who had so many friends.
exactly, that's me, and I can't.
Then you're walking
Yeah.
already into it with some insecurities that he can't fix. Like, he can do his best to make you as secure about the situation,
Yeah.
but to ask him to give up his female friends that are 100% platonic. I'm not talking about the ones that he slept with. Those
Yeah.
aren't platonic. Don't be
Yeah.
with anyone that you don't believe is telling you the truth, though.
Facts.
It's, once again, it's not about him. It's about you. Why are you with someone who
Facts.
you don't trust?
Which is the same thing. If you're following a bunch of Instagram models, you're gonna be kind of like, right?
Well, he's lurking, he's lusting. It's an online magazine essentially.
Yes.
And so if that's something that you're not comfortable with, you can't tell him that he has to unfollow. You can't give a man an ultimatum.
Like I said, like I feel like that's cheating, and it's also because it puts it in the mind.
Oh, you think
and
it's
I think,
cheating?
Well, it's cheating if you're with the guy and he's constantly looking at like booty models
But
and
do
a
you
bunch
think
of other
that
big
even
booty
if
girls.
he's following these girls, but he cannot follow them and still look, and he's still gonna look.
But that's what I'm saying. But following them, I feel like it's always on their feed, right?
So
and
you're
asking
saying that
like,
he's seeing it over and over, and it is.
Yeah.
It is this constant visual and implant of this imagery. But at the same time, is he now in charge of your social, and he can tell you who he wants you to follow and who he doesn't? Because it's not okay for you to just say, well, unfollow all the pretty chicks on your
Yeah.
social. Well, what if he comes at you and he's like, well, unfollow every male on your social?
Yeah,
You
that's
can't just
true.
pick and choose what you get to tell your
so at the
partner
end
to
of the day,
unfollow.
it's communication
toxic.
and the
Yeah,
trust.
you become obsessed.
Yeah,
Like
it
you
gets
start
to
checking,
that.
like who did he like today?
And that
Yeah.
becomes work.
Moderation, like me and my husband, like I follow some guys, he follows some girls, but when I see what he follows, not necessarily is like, those trashy models or whatever. It's more like, celebrities, Kim K or this
like
or
that's
that.
like different,
actresses and another, bikini model, but not to an extent where it's just like all bikini models and like 5 guy friends.
You're if her dude has access to them, you're like, wait, but he can actually touch these women. He can actually like get to
Kim
these women.
K, it's like, okay, follow Kim K. You know what I mean? You can follow her all day long.
Okay,
I'm talking about like
that
girls
if he can
that
get in
like
touch with them.
and that he's like friends with. You know,
anybody can slide through a DM. At the end of the day, before you
That
even commit to
DM,
this
it goes
person,
down in the DM.
you gotta have a social media conversation early on now.
Yeah, I think
before you
that's what it
commit,
is. Yeah.
What is your take on social? How important or how much do you prioritize social on
I
a
actually
scale of 1
look
to
for
10?
guys that that are not on social.
Yeah.
I actually prefer like an entrepreneur that's like, I don't have time for that. I have someone that runs it for me. I personally prefer that kind of guy. Is your guy on social media?
He is, but just sports and gossip.
So what if he was following like a bunch of like
and stuff.
that makes sense. And what about if he cancels last minute plans?
There has to
There has
be
a good reason. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Because there's things that come up.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Depends.
happens.
But tell us,
is it
what do you think?
consistent behavior of cancellation? What is he consistently showing you? Is he consistently showing up and then he cancels once, or is he
Always canceling last minute?
canceling?
Okay.
Because now it's a reflection of his lack of commitment to even like hanging out with you. And
Okay,
so if
so
he's
that-
flaky, you don't want to be with someone who's flaky.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And don't be afraid to have the conversation of like, my time is valuable. I need you to show up when you say that you're going to show up.
Yeah.
Or you have a backup plan and you go out with the other date that you had lined up for when he flakes.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, though, the solid foundation is communication.
Yeah,
and we have to be
absolutely.
okay to have these uncomfortable conversations. Because I know me, it's taken me a lot. I've had to go to counseling and therapy so I can learn to have
healthy,
it. Because
that's
my
good.
family, they'd have problems, and then the next day, nadie dice nada. And it's like, everything's okay.
But even for us as women, like we also have to be more flexible with like our time as well, because he winds up waiting 2 hours for you to do your makeup. Like
I know.
At the same time, he's dealing with flexibility, and so are we. So we have to be forgiving sometimes when he's later. It doesn't.
Gosh, Spicy Marie gave us so many tips. Thank you so much for coming. And guys, follow this girl because she's gonna give you all the tips, especially me. I'm gonna be following you, girl.
Yes, I got
At
you.
Spicy Marie. And don't forget to follow us on Get It Girl TV and LA TV Network. See you next time.
Bye.